Remix. 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 Remix.
What it do, niggas?
Morning. How you doing?
I'm good. Took your hair down?
Yeah. On to the next
What next style are you getting?
That's a great question. Whatever I can get before Christmas. I don't know.
That's funny.
I'm gonna
Took
see
your hair
what my
down. I got
stylist
my
takes
hair
off today.
done. We're never on the same hair schedule. It's actually ridiculous.
Of course I go off her schedule. My stylist is amazing. So whatever she needs.
No, I said we're never on the same hair schedule. Like I'll have my afro.
Oh,
You'll take your fro down. I'll get my hair done.
just text me. We gotta pick the same style to close out the year. Should I get?
I can't get braids to the scalp, so it'll never be that.
Nah, I'm gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do this time. We'll figure it out. You got to guide me though, so we can be on the same hair routine. You're right.
I'll probably get I said next time I get my hair done, I have to get my ends trimmed. And I'm thinking about getting silk press because I haven't had my hair silk press in like 10 years. But I might not. I don't know. I'm indecisive. So you should pull a Cat Williams and get
I was
your
gonna say, I think the silk press. I don't know. I don't know if I'm pulling that one off.
Hey Stono.
Peace, morning, chat. How y'all doing? Amber, I got.
Geechee going for the holidays?
Yes, he is. I actually thought it'd be
on holiday break. Love that for him.
Yeah.
I'll be on holiday break after today. Love that for me.
And I am filling in because I'm the BLM substitute teacher. I fill in when necessary. So I filled in for Geechee on Wednesday. Go check that out. And yeah, today we might pull Ear Doctor and Kim and invite people on live once you leave.
I thought you were going to ask Jared.
Jared couldn't make it. Family obligation. But it is all good. So I might open it up to the chat once you leave us.
Men really need to stop having families. It's
yeah. I think that's healthy for society. I think we'd survive if men had no families. That's how we go to Black Nation.
Have you seen those TikToks where people are like, I went 12 for 12 this year, and like with periods, so they ain't had no kids?
Oh,
I did not know that was a thing that people did until like last year. I was like, oh, y'all really make TikToks like that?
That's funny. You better shoot 100% if
Josh said, nah, Amber, it's an epidemic. For real, they gotta chill. Exactly.
No more. Y'all heard that? Y'all men heard that? We can't have no more babies. Amber said until Amber says so. Oh man. What do you got it out for? Wait, Amber can't picture Amber with this. Well,
I do just want to say I only got perms like a few times when I was younger. After that, I just was wearing my hair flat iron with lots of like volume. I was very addicted to like the 70s style curls. So I actually used to wear my hair like that normally until I went natural in 2012. So I used to wear it all the time. And I was really known for it. Like people were always expecting me to have like this big hair because I was like really obsessed with like 70s, 80s style hair. I don't know why, but it was my thing. And like
what made you decide to go natural?
I kind of was like, I don't really want to put heat on my hair anymore. It was cool. I mean, my hair was long. It's not like that was a problem. I just was like, I'm not really into this. And I normally was doing my own hair, so I could kind of just do what I want. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go natural. And then I just let my hair revert to being natural, which was actually pretty easy because I was just flat ironing it. I wasn't getting perms or anything after like elementary school. So I just literally just wore it how I grew out my head. That was it.
Got you. Did you ever have your parents or relatives or anything kind of I don't want to say police, but for lack of a better word, police your hair? Like which
My mom
style?
was a very anti-black. I think I talked about it on here one time about like how she's like a middle class black woman, so she was always like, make sure your hair is freshly washed when you go to that interview. Or like one time in like 2017, I had purple hair, like I dyed my afro purple, and she was so like worried about people judging me for having
Yeah.
purple hair, and I was like, I don't think they will. And I got hired at a corporate job. Like, what's wrong with mama? I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a lot well, they unfortunately sometimes our parents or relatives or elders inflict trauma onto us while claiming to want to protect us from trauma. But I had a similar thing about, you'll get stopped by police. I was like, even as a kid, even before I've been stopped by police, I was like, I feel like they stop us regardless. But hey,
Yeah.
if I can't get these braids, nah, it's funny. It was a time when my mom promised me if I got all A's, I could get cornrows. I was in, I think, like freshman year, ninth grade. I got all A's and a B, and the B was in English, and the teacher was racist, and my parents know this. And I was not allowed to braid my hair back then. So braiding was something as an adult that became a part of my life. Back as a kid, it was apparently going to get me stopped by police and harassed because I look like, I don't know, myself.
If you got cornrows, you're a criminal. My favorite part of like growing up with parents, like especially like as a millennial with like older parents, is like when they act like the things they used to do, they didn't do them at all, and you don't know what you're talking about. And they never said that. They never had those beliefs. And I was like, oh, it's crack. Like, what?
Oh,
You
yeah.
definitely were anti-black as fuck about my hair. Like, it's okay. I'm not upset about it, but like, we're not gonna act like it didn't happen. Baby, she
Right.
be forgetting whole scenarios. I was like, it's them phones. It be you Gen Xers in them phones.
I think that's a parent. Yeah, that's also a kind of defensive parent. What's the word I'm looking for? But wait, a strategy to be like, nah, that didn't happen. It's not what you said. No way, no. You couldn't remember your own reality. Where I look bad. No. That memory makes me look bad, Amber. It's clearly not real.
Or just makes it look weird. Like, why would you say that? Like, my mom used to like try to guilt trip me into doing stuff. Like, if it's something I know how to do and she just didn't want to do it, she'd be like, I don't understand why you treat your mama like that. I taught you how to pee. And I'll be like, that's so random of you to say. Cause you kind of had to do that as a responsibility of being a parent. Cause I can't go to daycare if I'm not potty trained. But like, she would like use it as like a guilt trip thing. And then last year she was like, I never said that. I was like, what? You definitely said that.
I can't. All the man, it's the greatest hits. I get that one from a lot of parents, not just my own, because let my mom tell it, I would be pathologizing her. But it is a very much like do as I say. It doesn't really have to make sense with the past. Like I was like, but my dad had braids when he was a kid. Nah, don't talk about my past either. So it's always funny.
No, let's not mention those things. My papa had a fro like when he was in like high school and college, and it was so like it looked so good on him. And he was like super duper like pro black. He got like them pictures in like the little Black Panther chair that's real popular in the black community.
Yeah, the wicked chair.
And like he was like doing like a lot of organizing like on his college campus and stuff. And I love seeing the old pictures of him like with his fro. It's not huge, like it's like this tall, but it looks so nice on him. And I'd be like, so many of our family members have had natural hair. Like, what's wrong with it? But my mama was just like worried that I wasn't gonna get a good job. And I was like, I mean, that's a fine word for you to have. I'm not worried. Somebody said, I think it was Chitty Matcha said in the chat about how the YouTubers, YouTube creators promoted the natural hair movement. So many doing their hair and giving tips while making their hair look fun versus traumatic for the first time, in my opinion. I did watch some of those YouTubers, but not a lot because my hair was transitioning. And like the girl Naturalista, Chitty Matcha, I could never do the style she was doing because I didn't have like the length of hair that she had. And I didn't have the type of hair. Like her hair mine's like looser in the back, like tighter coils in the back and looser from the middle to the front. So the style she was doing didn't like work for me, but I would do some of the like twist she would do like at the front and like wear my hair out like that. I've done some of those styles that she's done. And I looked at some of the products she used. I like her videos a lot. And there was this other girl, her name is Janitra. She actually doesn't make natural hair content. She just would post some natural hair content here and there. And I follow her and I like her content too. She's actually like a physicist, which is another niche thing that I like about her. So I followed her. I just think it's so random. Like she's a physicist and she's like really into fashion and like hair and stuff. It's really cool. Somebody in the chat asked us if we saw the Dr. John Aiden interview on Research Rebels. I didn't. Did you?
No, I don't.
I'm not gonna hold y'all. I only watched like 3 shows on YouTube. Well, channels. I watched like Liberation Media, the Memphis City Council, and Zach Fox DJ sets. So and like the yoga and workout videos I watch, but like that's it. So I'm not the best person.
I tend to watch things, so I added that to the list. We'll definitely have to check it out and report back.
Yeah. I'll add it to my little watch later so I can watch it on the plane.
Definitely. I appreciated that point about the digital era and how that was a positive thing it was used for, because I think we often talk about the internet and how terrible it is. But yeah, I do remember, asking people how to get waves, watching videos where they show you what they did and their pattern and all that.
They be doing too much though. Like now it's like a whole like wave talk on TikTok, and it's this girl who like has her own like little wave caps that she got like a brand deal with. Like they be doing a lot. And
I was gonna say it was a little more, I would say, organic, obviously, like most things at the start. And then now I would say it's this whole industry. I was going to say a very interesting element of Black nationalism, or at least why I identify with it, is this idea of defining our own reality as a community. So I think about that with like the hair texture scale. I often ask, like, where did that come from? The 4A or 3A, 3B, 4C, that kind of thing. I know the general answer is like it's some white man or something like that. But then the question becomes, have we invented alternatives to that hair scale? I know my people, so I assume yes. Somebody's going to be like, it is actually the da-da-da hair scale. So then the second question is
I haven't ever seen an alternative, but I also don't use the 4A, 4C. I don't use none of that stuff. Because I mean, I don't really feel like my afro or my hair falls into that anyways. But I've never really used it. And I feel like people naturally will look at my hair and just assume that it's thicker because it looks thicker.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of been my experience. Like they'd be like, oh, that's a lot of hair. I know it's a lot of hair.
Right.
You can still do it. And they do. So it's like, it's whatever. Like,
yeah,
thankfully, I do have a lot of hair growing out my head.
I haven't ran into the alternative hair scale either. I'm going to say that usually when you say nobody's done, and I'm one of those people who hates that, the y'all on Twitter, y'all never, or nobody's talking about, hate that shit. Because usually immediately in the comments, there's somebody who is doing or talking about that. So I don't want to say that it's not out there. I've just never, and you've never come across an alternative to the hair type scale. And usually that's the critique I hear is like, we're all basically from 3C to 4C, right? And within those 4 types, there's just so much diversity. Our hair doesn't really follow that. We have multiple curl pattern types, usually in our afro. It just doesn't describe our hair, which makes sense. It wasn't built to describe our hair. I
have yet to see someone like, I think maybe you're closer to her, Lori, but like I don't normally see people whose hair texture is the same all throughout their head.
Right.
And like my hair texture has changed. Like earlier in the year, I started cutting my hair, like getting my ends cut regularly and stuff. And now my texture has changed because my hair has grown out. So, I mean, it looks different. The texture is different on everybody. And I don't know anybody whose texture is all the way the same all the way around. Like I know quite a few people who have looser texture in the back and like the edges sometimes. But the like past this row is like super, super thick. Or like my hair, which is like looser and like the first like row in the back, and then everything else is super, super thick. And then over time it's just gotten thicker and longer, but it used to be a little looser. And I think that's like the process.
Good morning, y'all. Again, peace. Good morning, Friday Remix. Just checking in, having a natural hair conversation. I did not know this. Came from the scale apparently came from a Black stylist who hated natural hair. That does make sense, unfortunately. The hair scale is whack. Going by that, I have 4, just like what Amber just said, 4 distinct textures on my head, as do many people. Right. It just doesn't describe our reality. So my whole thing as a revolutionary Black nationalist would be, well, how do we create our own, spread that throughout our communities, make that
I don't actually think it's necessary though. I
You
don't
don't think
actually think we need a hair scale. White people don't use no fucking hair scale. They just be like curly or straight, oily or dry.
I think the point of the hair scale, so maybe I should stress like why we use it. It's supposed to be for helping people like know what kind of products and hair care routines to use. But then to your point, yeah, maybe it doesn't do that. Yeah, you're right. I was going to say the reason.
I don't use it for that. Like even when I see products that say perfect for 4C hair or whatever, I don't be like, oh, that's for me.
His name was Andre Talley. Yeah, well, that was what I was going to say. So when we were talking about how it was more organic at the start, and then it's transitioned into what you see now with TikToks about it, whole accounts toward it. It's a profit incentive, right? Like I think once it became a bag, once people were like, well, I can be the account you go to for braiding. Not this is a community account to teach people how to braid. That happened. And to your point, I see the hair scale as a way to sell products because there's a whole 4C section of TikTok that's for it. And then you have a lot.
It ends up back at capitalism.
Yes. Because then you have a lot of people who want to get that market, who will call their hair 4C. I think infamously Doja Cat called her hair 4C. It certainly is not. Love, that she wants to identify that way though. But I think she framed it as a negative. Anyway,
Tom Chowder said, my mom's a hairstylist. She really hates YouTube hair. She says they make narratives about natural hair that aren't true.
Yeah, I can
also see that too. I also feel like they be selling these products and stuff that you don't actually need. Like I went to the dermatologist this year for the first time because I'm just trying shit and I got health insurance in my job. And she was like, yeah, you don't need to wash it this much because I don't wash my hair that much. I do like once a week or once every week and a half or something. And she was like, yeah, you don't need to wash it that much. You're washing like all the oils and stuff out. And they be selling people on these products and make them think that they need to put all this stuff in their hair. And she was like, you're totally fine. You don't need to do all of this. And I feel like capitalism makes folks feel like they have to put all this stuff in their hair. Like I use the lock method, the liquid oil conditioner. So like liquid is the water. I'll sometimes put a little oil like on my ends. And then the conditioner is usually like a leave-in or like a styler. But I'm usually using like the Aunt Jackie's products or like they have a defining curl custard, but I don't use it every day. And I don't use it like in that same order every time. I don't always put oil in my hair. And she was like, yeah, you don't need to do all of that. Sometimes people just put too much product in their hair and it causes a lot of buildup. And I was like, I can see that because people get sold on using all these products and they fall for those shenanigans. Like even with Taraji P. Henson's line and what's the lady who got patterned? Tracy Ellis Ross. Like I like them as people. I'm not buying their hair care lines. And I know a lot of people who like Taraji's, like some of her products, but they don't use the full line. And not everybody agrees that it's good for like the thicker hair, like the advertisements have said. And I'm not finna change products. I feel like if what you're using works, you should just do that. And that's what I've been doing. What I use works, so I just do that.
Yeah, or there's just going to be some sort of center, some sort of community center where this information lives and it's not gated by wealth, essentially, and business, the market, capitalism, all those things. Because I agree, all these things should be normal. And a lot of us have hair trauma because we don't get taught how to take care of our hair, which is, again, just a common side of the colonized experience usually, where they say, oh, we don't get to take care of our hair, we don't get to practice our language, we don't get to do all these things that should be normal and healthy for us to do. So I know a lot of Black people who grew up, again, with this kind of psychology we're talking about, and they don't know how to take care of their natural hair, or they learn it as adults or for somebody else. So definitely, I do like Gabrielle Union's line though. So if I can get
I forgot she has one too.
Yeah,
I'm just not doing it. I'm not interested in trying all these different products, but I know people who use them who like them a lot.
Yeah, no, that it smells so good. I can't lie.
Not it smells so good.
Listen, I look for if you look forward, when you look forward to using something. I was like, yeah, you got me. But I don't know about the whole line and all that.
What do you use?
Well, I mean, now I have it. I don't have it. So it's just what was it? Not Cantu. I switched off, but things like that. I've used Cantu for a while, like their line of wash and dryer stuff. Whatever my stylist recommends, usually.
I like Cantu for a while. I mean, I use it for like some random stuff sometimes, but I don't use it as much as I used to. I feel like they definitely changing recipes.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said. A lot. I didn't notice it.
I hate when they do that. I didn't notice it either. Like, it didn't bother me, but like my other friends were talking about it, and I was like, I hate when people do that. It's like so disenfranchising the people who really like need that kind of product, and they be just doing it for money. They ain't got no real reason to do it. They just want to like have cheaper production.
Yep. All right.
Also, good morning to the undefeated chat. I forgot. My bad.
Of course. No. We said good morning, welcome as people file in to the undefeated chat. Amber
I do have to leave at 8 a.m. y'all.
Why? I don't know. Y'all, what's the streak? Amber's had to leave quite a bit lately.
I just want to say next Friday I'll be here the whole time. I'm taking my laptop on vacation with me and everything, and my mic, so that I can be here the whole time. But
the last one,
that's
the last one, right? Next Friday, pretty sure.
Next to last, yeah.
Last Friday remix of the year.
You know, like when you're doing like holiday travel, so they be having weird times. So I gotta like finesse this. I had to like.
I hear you. I know we need you for the last show. So at 9:40, I'm gonna drop a link to the chat so folks can join me. I want people to join me. We can run through some stories, but I'm gonna let you get first pick on the stories if you have any that you're interested in. And of course, it's time. Wait. No, it's not yet.
You lost it.
I lost it. Well, I can't find it. They've been moving stuff here. I'm gonna find it eventually. All right, let's pick our story, I guess, since I can't find our...
we did have a check-in question. What is your album of the year?
Yes, we did. What is your album of the year?
My album of the year, I'm not gonna hold you. It is Mutt, Leon Thomas, The Art of Loving by Olivia Dean, and Clips's new album. All three of them were like my nonstop listens.
Which one, if you have to pick one, though? You can only do one.
Can't pick one. I'm not a favorites person. I don't know if y'all have realized that about me. I can't just pick one.
Well, let's see. What's the chat listening to? All right, we got Billy Woods, Gollywog.
Album of the year.
I mean, everybody's got their own album of the year.
Hey, they meant that shit. Album of the year.
Billy Woods. Oh, I've heard a lot of people on Billy Woods, actually. Okay. Gotta shout it out.
What kind of artist is Billy Woods?
I think underground, maybe punk, hip hop. I know hip hop, no question, because they're a rapper, but their style be hard for me to describe it.
I gotta look them up.
It's been a minute.
They said
all right, what else we got in the chat? Mick Jenkins, Murder of Crows. Yeah, I heard some people going.
Y'all got interesting taste.
A lot of people, I think so.
Somebody said Brother Ali, Satisfied Soul.
He's a rapidy rap nigga, says Bobcat. That's what I was gonna say. Underground rap. That's kind of how I was gonna describe it, but I didn't want to be disrespectful since I haven't listened.
I really liked Chance the Rapper's new album too, but it's not like in my top.
Oh yeah, I was at the album release party for that. That was interesting.
You was at the album release party.
The one he had in Miami, not the one. I mean, if I were him, I'm
this shit. You know, y'all be doing stuff. Don't invite nobody. Don't tell nobody about nothing. You know, I love him. I just don't.
He was at Soho Beach House. It's funny though. It was bougie as hell. He did not listen.
He did not.
When you get to Miami, that's not Miami. You're not gonna have a good time. But yeah, I mean, he was jamming to his album. His people were, as folks in the audience, but a lot of the white folks at Soho Beach House didn't seem too familiar.
I like it. I liked his new album. I feel like he definitely is going back to his older style. I also saw this interview where he was saying like he actually wasn't going to put the album out. He was going to just put out singles because he feels like people digest those better. I do think that the type of rapper that he is more like more substance, and like the songs have a lot of like meaning and like undertones and stuff that people wouldn't catch when you put out a whole album. He was like, I feel like people are gonna be digesting this album for like years because it's a lot in the songs, and I didn't do what I wanted to do in the beginning and just put them out, like put like a few singles out one by one. And I think it was good that he put the whole album out. Actually, I thought it was a really good album. But I do see what he's saying. I feel like people do get more obsessed with a single a little bit quicker than they do albums. Although he had a really good response to this album, which I appreciated, because I know some people actually didn't like his other albums, the Big Day album and other ones. I actually loved them. But I mean,
I thought the Big Day was overhated, but also not good. But I mean, that doesn't.
I thought it was good. There was some good ass songs on there.
What's
Baby, you look good, you look handsome. That's
I know you must say the Meg Thee Stallion song, but it is a good song. It is a good song. I know
you're about to sing the Meg Thee Stallion song. That is racist.
Yeah, sure is. No one could have predicted that, but it is a good song. I mean, no, that's exactly the first song I think of on that album, because it's one of the few good songs in my opinion.
It was some other ones on there too. They're like really good. Like,
I mean, he's really good. Is the whole thing.
I like the dance vibes, but I think people was hating on the album like extra because they was annoyed that the nigga was getting married. It's not my fault.
Exactly. It was a meme, and God forbid you like women in rap. But then again, he doesn't. Like
God forbid you have children and marry the person you had the children with. But also, I don't necessarily think that he really wanted to marry that girl. I think that his daddy and his mama and them was really on him for being all Christian-y and shit, because his daddy a pastor. And I think that he felt guilty for not being married. I don't necessarily think he wanted to be married at the time. And he even talked about how he didn't feel mature and like there were other things happening there. They was beefed out a lot. And I was like, yeah, like it's okay to not be with someone that you have children with. It's disappointing. Like I know when you have this idea of what you want in life, it's disappointing, but shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
And then on the other side, you got his brother, the light skinned one, popping out all these fucking kids after he came out as bisexual. That also feels weird. But
is that Taylor Bennett?
Yeah, like he comes out as bisexual. He's doing this little thing, he's chilling, and then he has a baby. And that's like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, is it multiple women with the babies?
No, it's the same lady, but it's like 5 of them. Like he started like popping
the same lady.
It's the same lady, but it felt, I'm not gonna hold you, it very much felt like he was trying to beat the allegations, basically. Like, he came out as bisexual and he didn't feel like, he felt like, I think he said the response was pretty good, but I think he felt some insecurities once again from them parents, because it'd be the parents, the mama and the daddy, they was hard on them. And you can see it. Like he talks about it. He talks about his dad. Chance talks about his dad like being in like political spaces and like the stuff that they, really put them onto, like trying to, because his dad wanted him to run for office at one point and like other shit.
I was gonna say, you got to remember the class analysis you gave us earlier with the black bougie parents. Like
and I was like, it you can see it very clearly. And I just think that as they get older, Taylor gonna be like, damn, I should have popped out all them fucking kids. Chance gonna be like, I shouldn't have got married, but it's gonna be okay because shit happens.
Shit does happen. People do figure it out. I can't think of mine because
I don't address this. I'm saying allegations, like the term, like how people saying like beat the allegations.
Yeah,
I'm saying, like, it's a colloquialism, not like he has allegations.
Well, we got a litigious community.
I be on TikTok a lot. I'm sorry.
No. We got to be careful.
I'm not sure, A-Rob, if she's queer also. I will say that I remember when he came out and she like put out a post supporting him. I have never seen him say anything else after that, but I'm not sure if she is too. If she was, I mean, I was like, it's not an issue to me.
I was gonna say, he didn't need it. There's no allegations to beat if people.
Yeah, no, he not. When I say,
I'm just saying, it's like when we talk about dialectical materialism and people just be like ignoring the dialectical part. Like there's a bi in bisexual. Like it's okay.
Yeah. I think that I really could see the impact of their parents on their actions. I know some people were like, I don't see it, but back in the day when like Twitter and like Tumblr were real heavy, like they were real popular, and celebrities would be on there just telling their business and shit. So like I was just like reading, what they be saying, and they used to talk about like their relationship with their parents and stuff. And I just think that they was on them about like their lifestyles and stuff.
Now their album of the year.
How do you say the last name? Ngonga and Ngonga?
Jalen Ngonda. Yeah, I don't know.
Are they a rapper or singer?
Let's take a look. All right, and then
also Zinzi, I liked Sir's album too, and I liked Alex Isley's album, but I only liked some of the singles. I didn't like the whole thing. But also, I like Alex Isley as an artist. I also think it's interesting that her daddy is an Isley because he nasty. But and the stuff she be singing don't be so nasty like him. So I be like, dang, you know.
Jalen is R&B and soul artist. I can't think of albums right now, so I'm gonna podcast whatever they say top 10 is, and then we'll see what I would have picked or if I listen to any of these.
Is your Spotify Wrapped and your Apple Replay usually the same or very different?
I don't have both. You look at you with the multiple music streaming platforms. I only got Spotify. I don't got the Apple Music anymore. I had to
First
pick
of all,
one.
I just want to say I only have Spotify because my podcast is distributed to like 10 different platforms and one of them is Spotify. So I like to keep up with the stuff. I don't listen to a ton of music on Spotify. So my Spotify Wrapped is actually never really that good.
I was gonna say
I listen to a lot on Apple.
You do not want to see my rap because it's a mess. But also the thing about Spotify is that they just shuffle the same 10 songs over and over again. So when they're like, this is your most played, I'm like, y'all picked this as my most played. Like I didn't get to pick half these songs every time I click.
Oh no, I was picking the
same ones. So
I was picking the songs for sure.
All right, let's see.
Zenzi, he came out she had a gig somewhere and he came out and played and it was so good. I saw it on YouTube.
Let's see. This will be my cousin's favorite album. I already know is his album of year, G Herbo, Lil Herb. It was all right.
No, next. Keep going. None of them.
Alcoholic, Clean Up on.
None of them.
I don't know who is that. Happy Drinker?
We don't know. None of them. Bunna B now. I ain't gonna hold you.
Look at you trying to jump past your stars. Look at you. Bunna B. F15, Treaty, Treaty.
No.
Deal in my car. Hey. Okay, I'm not mad at this one.
Y'all listen to Lil Deal?
Yeah, of course.
I don't even know who that is. Keep going.
Skino Miller Hell for the win when he told.
Who are these people?
I don't know. Who's my Florida boy? Not for the industry. I forget his name. It'll come to me.
I like Playboi Carti. I didn't listen to his new album, but
this was in my top. Whatever Spotify said, this was the top of my shit. I'm a recovering Carti fan. It's okay. I'm not mad at it being up there, but I did not listen as much as Spotify thinks I listened to it. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But he's good.
I feel like some stuff that I felt like I listened to a lot more didn't hit the top like I thought it would.
Yeah, I agree. G Herbo.
I don't know who this lady is.
Cardi is not whack. I don't want to hear that. I do not know who this is either, so I'm gonna put her on the list.
Never heard of her.
Ken the Man, your girl.
Now she was on her shit all year. Tell them like, you know, get mad. I got too much design. I can't kick it in no kickback. Swear these niggas act like bitches with their bitch ass, and I be cheating first. I ain't got time to get no lick back. I be on that down Hulu with my rich friends trying to see if I'm gonna get this before the back end. Soon as shit ain't adding up, I'm subtracting. I don't like it when the math ain't mathing. She was on her rap shit. You hear me? I love Contavia. Down.
This is the second time this week a woman on BM has freestyled to me. I just want to say that that is crazy or rapped to me. I shouldn't say it wasn't a freestyle.
I really love Ken the Man.
Shout out Ken. I know you do. I know. Ken had some good work. R.I.P. Draco the Ruler, but I don't think he's on here. He put out music.
I do think that Ken the Man is Kim Jr. I definitely feel the vibes.
Lilo New Detroit heart. I mean, these aren't my top.
Only rappers.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm trying to see we're doing my top. I'm trying to see what I would pick, and I know myself. It will be rap. Little Tony Born Again.
People.
I actually don't know who this is.
Do you only listen to rap?
Nah, I listen to everything, but my soul is.
Keontae, you definitely need to listen more. I'm not gonna hold you. You actually need to listen more because
I want to say
the box is there.
Yeah,
they're really there.
No, yeah. I mean, I listen to rap primarily. I'm also from the generation that Jared and them, it says began to kill hip hop. So the 50 Cent resurgence right now was that was my origin. People be 50 or not. I mean, people say Jay-Z or Nas. I said 50. That was 2003 and forward. The end of rap. 50 and Wayne.
That's wild.
Kids. All right, let's see what else we got. Earl Sweatshirt, never been a fan, but if you like it, cool.
I've never been a fan. I only like one Earl Sweatshirt song, but it's because I heard it a few times. I don't dislike him. I probably should listen to the album to see what I think, but I have heard one song I really liked.
I think that, I mean, I've just been turned off to the Odd Future people from the beginning, mostly
To the Who people?
Loiter Squad, Odd Future, Tyler the Creator's crew. Like, just from the beginning, I've never really been on it.
I want to go to Camp Flock on real bad, so I'm sorry, friend.
A lot of people like it. Yeah, I mean, to me, for me, it's.
Bro, did you see Zach Fox's DJ set?
I've heard he's been getting better. I've heard some, because I heard some of his early ones. I was like, meh, I'm gonna stick to real DJ.
He came to Memphis for we had a summer solstice event on like the longest day in the summer or whatever, you know, for the solstice, and he DJ, and that shit was really, really good. Like he definitely has gotten better.
Nice, yeah. Someone said look up Earl Sweatshirt's mom. Okay, his mom is Cheryl Harris. I don't know who that is. Who's Cheryl Harris? Cheryl Harris is an American legal scholar and critical race theory. She is professor of civil rights and civil liberties at the Rosalind and Arthur Gilbert Foundation Chair.
That's probably why the music's so damn good.
UCLA School of Law explains the conscious rap. Yeah, Whiteness is Property was one of her writings. Cool.
TJ said the Camp Flock set was fire with his Unk fit on. Yeah, he was lit. I ain't gonna hold you. I listened to that joint. I listened to the set last week, actually. Again, like just bumping.
Yeah. Well, looks like Josh doesn't have an album. We were over the Earl. The whole Odd Future thing. I don't like. I mean, it's mostly Tyler hate, but people who perform for
not Tyler people. Hate. I'm not gonna hold you. Chromacopia was a hit too. So,
I mean, he's always been the. How I'm gonna say it. He already knows who his fans are. He knows who his fans are, just like Donald Glover knows what he's done. They know what they've done. So I'm gonna just leave it.
Did you hear that Donald Glover had to get a heart stick?
Yeah, I did see that. He had to take off his tour because he has a heart condition or something.
I see a poor thing.
Hope he's all right. Big Sad 1900, and then KP Skywalker. I heard this.
I don't know most of these people, and
all right. Well, Josh don't have an album of the year right now, but if you do, continue to drop it in the chat. And yeah, Amber, you got one story you want to pick from the list?
I want to watch the 21 Savage one. I'm loading it up right now.
All right, cool. So everybody go get some water. Welcome to Friday Remix. And it's time to slap the mat.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Friday Remix. We got our first story that we're covering.
Yeah, I don't know my dog barking. I'm sorry, guys. So this is a video of 21 Savage. He's explaining how Atlanta grooms children to a certain lifestyle. I'm trying to make sure the volume turned up. Okay.
Atlanta
yes.
Really got down. What's the word? Atlanta really a pedophile. Cause Atlanta really groomed us, bro, since we was kids. No, just listen to what I'm saying. Maybe pedophile the worst word.
What's up, TJ?
Maybe pedophile the wrong word. Atlanta is a grooming ass city.
Okay.
Atlanta groomed us, nigga, since we was 10, 11, 12 on club life, bro. Like, nigga, when I was a lamb, nigga, on my mama, nigga, I was taking out trash for $2 in apartments. Just to goddamn get some chucks and some dickies to go to the Cater Skate.
Yeah.
Getting wristband, goddamn, nigga, they used to have pictures with no liquor. You just get a picture of Sprite. So your ass getting groomed for the club.
Yeah.
From you goddamn in middle school.
Yeah.
So now when you got down 30, man, nigga, I've been going to the club since I was 11, 12 years old, bro. The club.
Bro, super fun.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Atlanta groomed a nigga, bro.
So I'm saying, like,
Okay, what are your first thoughts on this story?
I can see what he's saying. I do think groomed is a strong language, but I do see what he's saying. I do think that, like, the lifestyle part of, like, selling people on this lifestyle does lead them into these other bad habits that can become like an issue. Like you getting a whole pitcher of Sprite, so now you're like, oh, I should get a whole bottle when I go to the club. I can understand the trajectory of what he's saying, but I do think the groom part was strong.
Yeah, I think this is a common.
And I think he's trying.
Thing, right? So I think there's 2 points, and I agree with you on that. I think a lot of people are going to hear it and be kind of thrown off by the language, right? Mm-hmm. Such casual use of the word pedo and grooming, not knowing what that is. I think that's a matter of the social media culture we live in, how language spreads and kind of has these trends. So I think gaslighting is another example. We learned a lot of this language, and then
we'll be using that you using it in the wrong way, which is why niggas really should read so they understand the language they're using.
Yeah. So I on one hand agree we should be better with the language and not fall into just using words we don't know what they mean as trends. I've fallen for that too. At the same time, I also think there's a sort of respectability politics people have with folks who aren't the most articulate or any of those things when they say something and you know what that means. In fact, that's a point of conversation I usually get frustrated with when someone says something, and then it's usually white people who do this, by the way, debate bros. They nitpick at what the person said when it's like, okay, but we know what the main point was. So the Amber, like, yeah, the main idea is that socializes, indoctrinates. Those are the better words we're looking for. But Atlanta does prep its kids. I like that you talk about
socializes. Yeah, that's better language. But I understand what he's trying to say. Like, and also this is all rooted in capitalism, by the way. But right. I also think that the idea of like them socializing kids into these bad habits that also cost them a lot of money. Niggas be blowing money in the club or blowing money on hookah, blowing money on cigarettes, like all these things that are actually very, very costly, but because they become hooked to it, now they're like, I can't, get away from this thing. Like I'm addicted to it. Stone, I think that they did, but he came back. He figured out. Yeah, they deported him because he's from Canada, and then he came back. He like.
You mean 21? No, I think they held him. I don't think did they deport him? I think they had him in holding.
He was deported. He posted online that he was deported. Like, the UK, not Canada. He was in the UK. He posted online that he was deported. So that's where I'm getting it from his little tweets and stuff. But this was actually a while ago. That was like years ago.
Yeah, no, that was not. Yeah, time flies fast in celebrity times. But yeah, it was a few years back. Because Lotto said on that the last album, I'm fucking on this British man, and I was like, huh? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because somebody was saying, I saw something on TikTok like the other day where people were saying like, I guess she finally claiming him because he got divorced, like his divorce was final, and I was like, oh, okay.
I forgot he's married.
He was married, and
the way he talked about, man,
other people tell it he was in an arranged marriage or something. It ain't my damn business. So I ain't paying enough attention. I just remember that someone had mentioned that Lotto won't claim him or be out with him in public because he's married still. And I was like, that's not a good look. I also agree with this, Keontae. This is why people love sections now. And that's why I have actually in the last like 2 years moved towards going to more like raves and stuff like that, because people actually go and dance at those. Like at the club, like y'all be wanting to sit in the section, and I'm cool being in the section if we sit on the couches and turn it up. But if we just sitting in a section, that's lame. It's boring. I'm actually coming here to burn calories. I actually came here for the dance cardio. Like I'm actually here to get down, and no one is doing that, and it's really lame to me when they do that. So I started going to raves, and they're way more fun.
Agreed. In some cases, it depends on the rave.
Yeah, I'm popular this morning.
Yeah, I think this could be told in almost any, American city, right? So I appreciate that he speaks to his experience and things like that. I think it
definitely can. I mean, I think that in Memphis, an example of that is like the dance culture, like the juking culture, and like the ice skating rink culture too. We had the same thing. Like our skating rinks used to be like super popular. Same thing they have like in Atlanta, like you go into Decatur skater and stuff. Like we had that here. Like we had the 2 skating rinks that are like the most popular that everybody was going to. It was like a whole big thing, and I was like, I didn't see the point. But I have always been I'm not finna do some shit just because everybody else doing this type of person. So I was never really into just going because everybody's saying they're going to this thing. I would just be like, oh, okay, that's cool, and I'm gonna go do the same thing I was already gonna do because I can't be persuaded. But I do agree with the culture part, and I think that I see that culture translating a lot more socially as I'm getting older, and like the lifestyle people are living, like going to the clubs, only eating lamb chops. Why are you only eating lamb chops with no vegetables? Like just this idea of like falling into the things that you're seeing online. It's like, oh, this is the thing I should be doing. This is the lifestyle I should reach for or attain. When realistically, it's actually not. And I saw this. It was a Michelle Obama video. She was talking about how people like her daughter's age and like our age, millennials, are having such a hard time with just living life in normal. Like when you have a normal day, we're having such a hard time with that because we are raised to think that there's something spectacular supposed to happen every day, or there's some big thing happening every day, or every day, I'm gonna go out to this event. Like you're taught to think that like every day is different or like magnificent on this huge level of like adventure, when it's really not. Like life is boring. Like you do the same stuff every day, you go home, you go to sleep. Like that's a normal thing. And I fully believe that because when I was becoming like an adult in like my 20s, I used to think it was so weird. Like I was having like a response to like not having anything happening every day. I was like, well, why? This isn't like college and like we have like events every week and I'm like just sitting at home and this is boring. And I think that we were really socialized to think that that's not how life normally is. And it's really bad for our mental health.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would hear this story and hear what you're talking about and come back to this point about parenting, which I do agree there is a role for that in this conversation. Like who is responsible for determining age appropriate activities? Because one thing I did hear about 21, obviously, if you know his background and all these things, was that he's speaking about somebody who's in the streets and been allowed to run the streets for quite some time. Like I wasn't going to the club at 11 or 12. That's just not a thing. But I do know people who did, because we had a strip club that will not be named that I need 13-year-olds that had.
But I mean, he wasn't talking about going to the actual club. He was talking about how the skating ring is like.
He was saying this, but he was talking about all sorts of other. He was talking about the. You're right. I should say that. I know the further context he's saying is that like this lifestyle.
People were going to clubs and stuff when they were super young.
Yeah, exactly. And that he was this out here lifestyle, something he was dealing with. But I hear you absolutely. But even to this comment, it was Keontae, my mom would never let me stay at the skate rink for the lockout night. So even that, like, I do wonder about.
I never went to those either. I only went to one lock-in at my church. I didn't see what all the hype was, but I also did other activities. So I think that if I was like growing up like 21 or other like Atlanta youth who didn't really do other things, I definitely could have fallen into the stuff that he's talking about. But like I was in a step team, I was singing in the choir, I was going to church events. I was like, me and my sister, I have a twin sister, and we played games all the time. We were really into skating at one point. My mom got us skates, like inlines. We'd be up and down the street skating. Then we were into skateboarding. So she got us these scooters that turned into skateboards. So we spent like a year learning to skateboard. Like we were always doing like different activities and stuff. So I was never falling into like these random weird like social things that I shouldn't be at. But I know a lot of people who did. Like my cousins will be going to parties and stuff. And I didn't go to like my first party until college. And I also didn't get the hype that much either because people wasn't dancing or nothing. I was very much into like dance culture, stuff like that. And people weren't really like dancing. So I went and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'm not a big drinker. I can't smoke because I'm allergic. So I just wasn't into a lot of the activities they were doing at the parties.
Right.
So I started to like kind of curate what I would want to do beyond that. And I think that it's just different, like based off of how you grew up. But I still was wilding out a little bit. Like I still was doing stuff that I definitely shouldn't have been doing. But that's what happens when you like grow up a little sheltered. That happens to a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in this case, there are normal and healthy elements to childhood, like to go into a skating rink, right? So that's not the major problem. But yes, I do think parents have some sort of responsibility to know who's all going to be there, right? And what's going on in that place. But to your point, I think it comes down to what a lot of people have been talking about with third spaces, or where the youth get to go, be themselves, mess around and not be a nuisance or something, or blight in the case of Black kids, and used as an excuse to gentrify the area. So I think for a lot
I agree, because a lot of the social behaviors I feel like we see from kids that are like abusive or aggressive are because they don't have social spaces to figure out those things. Like I was able to go to social spaces as like a youth and like make out with a boy, and it wasn't a weird thing. I was able to figure out like what kind of things I was into, like socially or in relationships. And because they aren't getting that, like it's so many youth that like we have in our BLM chapter who don't have those social skills, and a lot of them have a lot of anxiety because of it, because they don't know how to respond in situations because they aren't given the spaces to develop those social skills, and it's not helpful. Like people actually really do need to, like, just like when people say as a baby, like once you get to like 3, they need to go to daycare because they got to develop some skills. Like the same shit all throughout your adulthood, like going into a young adult, you have to go to these different spaces to develop those social skills. Because if you don't, you become a fucking incel, or you think when a woman tells you no, then you should just hit her or abuse her or take it anyways because you don't know how to respond to it because you've never been in that situation before. It's very dangerous. But yeah, that's something we've been working on here too, is like getting more. Somebody comment into the in the chat about like wanting more investment around that. That's something we've been working on here, is like getting more. Yeah, here it is. Devin said youth need a lot of investment programs, sports, culture, events, etc. And I agree.
Right. And if you can't get it from a certain space, right, whether that be the church or some sort of youth group, it's got to come from somewhere. And I was just talking to my comrade, and he was explaining this even in his own sibling group, right? Him and his younger sister came from that disinvestment, mass incarceration generation right after their older siblings. So their older siblings, even growing up not wealthy, were able to go to, they used to do camps in the Everglades and scouts and all these things, all these youth programs. Everything used to be active in the community. That money dries up. Fascism, austerity, what we talk about, they take that money away from our communities. And then his whole generation, they struggling for sports, trying to find this whole thing. And if you're not in AAU or in some sort of elite sport, right, you're kind of just not allowed to be and to exist and have fun as a kid. So definitely true.
That was something that happened here too. Like, I mean, the only programs I did that were like those kind of things you were talking about was Girls Inc., which is like almost like Girl Scouts, but like not as programmatic. And they traumatized me with a fake baby that was on crack. So it wasn't that much fun.
Yeah, and then we got to quality control, test the programs. Yes, no question.
Yeah, I mean, they had some good, to me, they had some good skill building. Like we had some conflict resolution stuff. We talked about like arguments and like how to like work through like social issues. Like we had classes like that in there. But there was also like the reproductive justice part of like, yeah, we're gonna give you this fake baby. We're gonna have a lock-in and you're gonna stay with the baby. I threw that baby against the fucking wall and left it in a room. I ain't had time. I was like, nah, I'm good. Because first of all, why are you trying to traumatize me? And I'm too smart to fall for your shenanigans. So you're not going to traumatize me. I'm done. The baby over there. Figure it out.
Why not? Why the baby got to be on crack?
No, it was on crack. They gave, so like every other baby had a drug issue because they're trying to traumatize us about having kids. So my baby was addicted to crack. My sister maybe wasn't addicted to nothing, but then one of my friends' babies was addicted to crack too. I was like, this is too much.
Shout out Black Miss Podcast. Go check out the episode Crack Babies, y'all. Please. So this is, we talked about this week. You brought us to some trauma around our extracurriculars. I think Sadiq and Jared this week cover Rich Dad, Poor Dad, another source of trauma for many generations of youth. So yes, we got to be clear on what people are getting. What was I saying? I think I was about to talk about where you were getting at, Amber, the ways they're policing kids. Saint the Dame says they put curfews on movie theaters and parks around here. Absolutely. Yeah.
And they've been putting like stipulations in our community centers where like you have to have a parent with you. And we actually we've been like organizing around that to like get them to stop doing that shit, because the community center is where everything is. And if your kids, they've been building new community centers here. So there's 2 new community centers and like I think a few new libraries. And if you saying that the kid can't come into the library or the community center without a parent, but they just got out of school, so obviously don't have a parent with them, you're actually you're missing the whole point of why they're coming here. They're coming here to have a safe place to go until their parent gets off of work. It's actually a waste of time. And Keontae said something that I agree with too, that I'm glad I didn't do a lot of grown things until I was grown, because it's odd to me when I turned 21 and people talking about being burned out on clubs or drinking. Saying I didn't do any of those things. I did like have a few drinks here and there in college before I was 21, but I actually wasn't that into it. But that's because I have a control issue. And I don't like things that make me feel like I'm not in control. But I didn't go to like a casino or nothing until I was 21. And I went and I was like, okay. I won like $800 and then I didn't go back. And I've been like to a casino like 2 or 3 times since then. So I'm not big on that stuff. But I do like just trying things for age appropriate moments. So that's what I did. And I do think it makes a difference when you do things age appropriately. I do think it does make a difference. Because I'm also able to make what I feel like is a more informed decision about if I really want to do that thing. Yeah. And in the moment I was like, okay, this was cool to try out. I don't really want to do this anymore. But it was fun to try out. And I think if I had did it when I was younger, I may have not have been like, okay, this isn't something I should be doing. Like I wouldn't have had that same discernment. Yeah. So I agree.
We talked about that. Well, we talk about that with organizing like this room to fail, like space for people to learn how to do things. And I completely agree in terms of just youth. It's the same principle. Like kids need space. They need to be able to try stuff out, realize what they do and don't like, all of those things. And I do think that we have to be clear about the programs. I know on Remix we covered a few times when they talk about the kids, and I have this whole thing about this gender binary around programming. Like girls can't learn how to change a tire, boys have to learn how to do this kind of stuff. So even with programming, I see that a lot. I see even what you're saying with Girls Inc., like ways that they were not up to all the programming they could have offered for young girls, right? Like there's more they could have been doing. So I think that becomes a thing as well. It's like, well, what programming is available? Because if it's like teaching a girl to go to a cotillion, teach a young boy your royalty, like to me, again,
I wouldn't have been into cotillions either.
Very limited use in terms of building revolutionary culture. So that and also all the financial literacy things. So these are the things that when we ask for programming in the community, there's all the things we talked about. Like I said, a braiding clinic, that kind of thing. Very useful skill. Make it co-ed. Anyone can come in, learn how to retwist locks, do hair. What do we always talk about? Get a skill, get a trade, get something that can make you money, right? But then people are teaching kids crypto instead of teaching them how to braid hair. I'm going to be real. Between those two things, which thing do we think is more useful for labor in terms of starting a business, knowing how to braid some hair or knowing how to gamble on crypto? And this is the challenge that we're presented with community programming. But that's why what we do here is so important. That's why, again, shout out Sadit and Jared this week for going over Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've had a vendetta against that book for a very long time. High school students are still being forced to read that garbage. So
that's crazy, really?
Yeah. Did Abbott cover this? I had to quit Abbott after their gentrification arc. I couldn't do it. The season where they called the local community group the Blacks, and they all Abbott's
I remember that.
Oh man, I was mad.
Manifesto asked me, "Does Memphis have casino boats?" No, we don't. You can only have a casino on water, and there's only one in Tunica, Mississippi, because that's where the water is. Well, there's like 3, but that's where they're on water. So yeah, that's where
Abbott is triggering as an educator. I can't. Oh man,
it's triggering you.
Oh, that show made. No, I mean not anymore. I ain't watching it no more. That show made me so mad. Oh man, all the cover they run for all these social problems. They make the teachers always look like victims. Oh, the poor parents making me do my job. They're so mean and ghetto. The Blacks. Yeah, you know the white writers.
Yeah, that group being called the Blacks was weird to me. I'm not gonna hold you.
It's because it's the trope. If you're a community organizer, you can't be serious. They didn't know how to fight gentrification. They're all confused. Tyler James Williams' character wants a smoothie. Or say, oh yeah, I love gentrification because there's only a deli here and it makes bad, smelly sandwiches. I want a smoothie shop.
He said smoothies.
That episode, that season, again, just wow. The way they play around with the developer because he's a golf.
And then he invites him to the little preview day thing. They give him all this free stuff. I was like, bro, they hit the little black key.
Listen, let me get my Mr. Johnson spinoff, please. That's what I'm here for. I want Mr. Johnson.
Because I want to know about his life. I need more details. These stories be interesting.
That's the lore I want to hear. And then again, it's always, I mean, this is ABC, this is mainstream, this is the, COINTELPRO lives on. But there's all the little things they sneak in there. Mr. Johnson, one episode says something like, you're probably off to assassinate another black leader, FBI, like something like that. And then like Tyler James Williams' character just does the deadpan into the camera, like, and it's like a joke. And I'm like, okay, ha 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 ha. Anyway, that is the show. And yeah, they take place in Philly, so they do these little crossovers to let you know they're in Philly, like they did an Always Sunny crossover. Yada yada yada.
I saw that the crossover wasn't interesting to me, but I know some people were.
They didn't need that. I don't watch Always Sunny, so I didn't even notice it was a crossover till like halfway through the episode.
Yeah, I don't watch it.
Oh, okay.
I only knew because of the short white guy that I know is from Always from Sunny because I see him on commercials, but
Yeah.
I don't watch the show.
They need do they have a laugh track on Abbott? No, they don't, right? They need that Disney, that 90s sitcom. Woo! So we know that it's a crossover. Like they needed to cheer.
So we know this would happen.
So I know that's a crossover.
No, that makes sense. Oh, a manifesto. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
In Abbott Elementary, we were talking about.
In Abbott Elementary, yeah, they had a like crossover episode. Okay, guys, I have to go.
Okay, Amber's out, which means I will start pulling up the next story, and I'm gonna drop the link to the chat. Please,
so somebody should join, like John.
Check your mics, check your cameras, check the hair, check your teeth.
Not check.
Come on, camera, join us. All right, Amber, have a safe trip. You headed to the airport, right? Safe travels.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. One more show.
Of course. I'll be here next Friday.
Last Friday. Next week. All right. Peace, Amber.
Peace, y'all. Oh, I love you guys too.
All right. Morning. It is the Friday remix. I am here. Amber is traveling. Geechee's out of town. Jerry's got family. So it is Josh in the infamous chat. If you want to join, again, I'm going to drop that in. It is the last Friday of the year, Brittany. I want to be very clear. Of course, we'll be back next year. I might not be back as the host. Might switch it up and things like that. But it is the last show of the year. Next Friday is the 26th, I want to say. Yep, the 26th, and that is the last remix of the year. We also should be having a telethon on BLM. We are remonetized for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts. So, super chats, things of that nature, we will be able to take those in for the next however many weeks until we get a strike again. So, this is the highest compliment I could ever give because I only give it to the best teachers. So, wish I had Lorick as a teacher in middle school. Oh man, that feels good. All right. In the meantime, as people decide whether or not they want to join me on the stage, let's get into some more stories. I'll of course engage with the chat. We got a lot of Trump material here that we could go over with. We can start with something light. Bear with me, y'all. I don't know how Jerry does this. I'm new to the solo. We're gonna figure it out. All right. Let's see. What story we got here? Some light work. Jerry sent us earlier. Let's talk about this trend right here. So, over 90% of series streaming in 2024 were from white creators. UCLA diversity study finds. So what I was interested in, and I got to go back and look at the rest of the report, is how much of a trend is this? Because I would imagine that it's almost always been a majority white creator situation when it comes to these streams and these things, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. And it says, let's see here. UCLA's second annual Hollywood Diversity Report found that of the top 250 current and library scripted titles in 2024, women and people of color face limited opportunities on and off the screen. So we already kind of know the angle this is about to go. It's a DEI story. And the probable trajectory is going to say that we need more women of, color and minorities and all of these things in the writer's room, which of course is true, but this is about the creator situation. So that to me seems higher up the food chain in terms of who controls what in a show. So more here, it says, let's look at all show creators by race. Again, show creators, so not actors on screen, not production assistants, not costume designers, not even screenwriters, right? We're talking about show creators. White is 91.7%. Again, this by certain petty bourgeois people will be framed as new, as like a trend, but I'd be curious, like before 2024, before Trump and the anti-DEI, what were the statistics? Renee's done great work on Target and showing that like they weren't doing a good job before, and sometimes their DEI programs don't do anything. But Black people make up 3.3%. Next, however you define that, Asian, however you define that, also combined basically for 3%. And yeah, it's like our media landscape is very white in terms of the creation of the products, not necessarily what we see on screen. Unfortunately, this wasn't unexpected, especially with the election results in 2024. So again, blaming Trump as if that's a problem in this case. When you shut the door on diversity, you shut out opportunities for more perspectives, collaboration, exploration, and growth. Without vigilance and pressure, the industry will continue to invest less and less in these creators and stories to the detriment of their bottom line. So, source. I appreciate UCLA. I appreciate their data, but the analysis here feels off. When you shut the door on diversity, so who's shutting this door, right? You would have to show me what were the DEI programs in place before 2024 election and after. What were the numbers before and after to show me a cause and effect? You have to show me how this causes the thing you're saying. Without vigilance and pressure, how? What kind of pressure? What pressure do you have for industries other than labor? Right? So I'm just confused. 3% of owners, devastating for you. Black people and make up 3% of owners. Asian and Latinx people and Native Americans make up another 3%. And then the rest is white creators. Without vigilance and pressure, so again, you need labor to pressure, the industry will continue to invest less and less in these creators and stories to the detriment of their bottom line. So the implication here is that more Black creators will be healthier for Hollywood's bottom line. My question with these kinds of things is always, what if it isn't? Does that make it wrong? Right? What are we going to do? So that ends up being the thing, trying to justify it by saying that it hurts the bottom line. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. You could argue either way. But if it doesn't support the bottom line, do Native Americans not get to create media? Right? Capitalism says, no, they can't. And so that's the point. And then we talk about the Vernon philosophy here, which says that we should not be watching this white created Black media, which I agree. So would it be healthy for us, though, if we had creative control in Hollywood? Probably not, right? Because we've talked about this, the shadow industry here that exists where the CIA, Department of Defense, the Pentagon are screening your scripts and handling things that way. So I'm going to cite something that I found earlier this week. See if I can pull it up again to just close out this story. But it was interesting during Sadiq and Jared's conversation. It reminded me of something Jared cites in the myth and propaganda of Black power that's really important. And that is this document right here. As always, links and sources are in the show description. So if you want to see where I'm pulling from, just check there. I always add it. But in this case, I wanted to cover this piece. Dear Owen, the CIA, Luigi Lurashi, and Hollywood, 1953. And I see somebody has joined me. Chat All-Star here. So I'm going to add her to the stage. Welcome. Zanzibar, how you doing? What's up?
Doing, Lorik. This is my first time up here with you.
Happy to have you on screen.
Oh, happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
I don't
this is an occasion. I'm happy. Welcome, chat again. If you want to join us, the link is in the chat. I'm dropping it there again. Joined here by Zenzi. So Zenzi, I'm talking about Negroes in pictures which comes from this article here. I don't know if you've seen it, but Jared cites it, talking about, we'll do some pair reading. Early in the 1950s, in 1953, an executive of Paramount Studios sent a series of reports to a contact at the CIA. Historians have been familiar for some years with the roles of Walt Disney and Ronald Reagan as secret informers to the Federal Bureau of Investigations. One more time, Walt Disney and Ronald Reagan as secret informers to the FBI. But these reports are the first direct evidence of the CIA's influence over the content of American films. In her account of the CIA's waging of the Cultural Cold War, Who Paid the Piper?, Frances Stoner Saunders recently drew attention to these secret letters, rightly noting that they make extraordinary reading. And I want to point out, Gabriel Rockhill has a Who Paid the Pipers of Western Marxism, which also talks about a lot of these white Western Marxists and their CIA anti-communist ties. So Zenzi, I wanted to talk about, if you feel comfortable joining me here, this piece called Negroes in Pictures.
Sure.
Right here, this letter from January 24th, 1953, if you feel comfortable reading it for the people.
Negroes in Pictures. This subject has been discussed with casting, 24. Henceforth, wherever the background of the picture permits, well-dressed Negroes will be planted as a part of the American scene without appearing too conspicuous or deliberate. Sangaree, which is shooting, doesn't permit this kind of planting, unfortunately, because the picture is period and laid sick in the South. It will consequently show plantation Negroes. Now, plantation is capital. Never mind. Let me shut the hell up. However, this is being offset to a certain degree by planting a dignified Negro butler. All three have to be, included in one of the principal's homes, and by giving him dialogue indicating he is a freedman and can work where he likes. Caddy, as you know, is the Martin Lewis golf comedy. I thought it was Caddyshack, but anyway, actually closed down at the moment because of Lewis's sickness. When it reopens, I'm thinking of something different. When it reopens, as there are still some shots on the golf links to be made, with spectators watching the match, some Negroes will be planted in the crowd and, if possible, shown using a nice up-to-date car. Arrowhead, formerly Adobe Walls, the Nat Holt Western. This presented a serious problem which the commies could use to their advantage in Asia. The complete indictment of Apaches and our treatment of them. The indictment consisted of our white characters claiming Apaches are just bad, and that is that. You're born an Indian, so you're no good. The other point was a shipment of a whole tribe by the army against their wishes to Florida and the tagging of them like animals. The conflict now has been reduced to one of personalities. The Apaches are misbehaving because they are following the misguided advice of their leader, Toriano, Jack Palance. Oh, God. Anyway. I know how it is. All right. Who has a long feud with Bannon, Heston, I assume Charlton Heston, an Apache weird white man. All the bad acts on both sides stem out of this personal feud. And at the end of the picture, after Toriano is killed, it is clear that there is now going to be peace as the leadership of the tribe is being taken up by a different man. From a very intellectual standpoint, the inference is analogous to the fact that Germans and Russians would be all right if they hadn't respectively listened to Hitler and Stalin. From the broad audience standpoint, particularly the Asian one, we have removed the broad indictment of a people because of its color. The commies will probably still make use of it, but less effectively, particularly since it is a period Western. Why you get me to read that bullshit, man?
Ooh, God. I mean, because when we say burning philosophy, it's not just ideas. Okay. This is some serious stuff.
Can I
go ahead?
Insert my thoughts on burning philosophy while I do
it. We got the stage.
And this is the perfect piece for me to kind of roll into this. And I get it. Okay, I get why this is done. I don't give a fuck what white people think. I have patterned my life to not give one single fuck about what white people think at all. Period. Full stop. And so this, I expect it. If it's different, I'm going to react. But this, I expect. Burning philosophy, yes, this is true. However, I am able to understand that Now, I don't like watching, some like goofy ass black folks just being super, super, buffoonish and shit like that. I'm not gonna watch that shit unless it's super funny. But I can watch some shit that, have primarily white people, maybe one or two black people, if I'm enjoying the story. Because I already fucking know what the deal is. I don't have to, it's like I got mad at the screen every 5 minutes when I was 20. I'm 57 now. Okay. If I'm still doing this shit because I'm trying to make a point, I'm trying to, make myself sound how, see, I'm intellectual, I'm deep, I am conscious. I did that shit. I was annoying with that shit in my 20s. So yeah, so what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with you. My thing is,
why you make me read that bullshit? No.
I agree. I just think it's one. I think the level of how intense it is that those people off.
Yeah.
And then,
well, not me, because I mean that first of all, that was back in the day, and again, been here for a minute, and so I've read shit like that. When I was
right, yeah. But for Jared students who think that they're making their own taste up and that, so for me, it's usually that this kind of thing made sense to me, but then to see the actual receipts of, oh no, this was an informant, this person worked for the CIA, I think it's clear. But I think the other thing for me is usually people do watch media to feel something, usually to feel entertained or cathartic or anything like that. And I just think anytime you watch black media, I've had this feeling like you since I was a kid, like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like anytime I see something with black people on the screen, I'm like, what are they about to mess up? And so I think for a lot of people, when they don't have this consciousness, they keep going in expecting, well, this film will be different, or Ryan Coogler made this one, and every single time the other shoe drops. So even with the Negroes in Picture strategy is so common, it's so obvious in Law and Order, every cop TV show. Yeah. But in the Wednesday Addams show, I
watched that shit, but I'm only.
Did you like it?
Hello, I'm only on season 2. First of all, I fucking love Wednesday Addams.
I do. Okay.
I can't listen. And also, y'all, if I like some trashy shit, I do not give no disclaimers. I do not explain why I love shit. You either accept that shit or don't. Y'all should know my brain right now. Fucking love the hell out of Wednesday Addams. Now, yes, of course, there's going to be a token black girl, the black best friend. If there's a black person, that person has to save a white person. I mean, I understand that shit, But what were you going to say about Wednesday?
No, I mean with the Wednesday show, I like it. I agree with you. It's a good show. It's well done. It reimagines.
I'm late though. I just started watching it.
I just did too. I haven't been to season 2 yet. I just know in the Wednesday series, there's a scene where she goes into Pilgrim Town, and she goes and beats these local villagers up, and they play as pilgrims. And she makes a semi woke comment about the pilgrims practice mass genocide. But who did they pick to be the main pilgrim? And who did they say, my dad owns Pilgrim Road? A random black child. Now, how many random black children exist in Salem or whatever?
Exactly.
We don't exist. And then we're used to hide America's original sin when we were enslaved by pilgrims. It's really, so that's what I mean. To me, I'd rather just burn black people shouldn't be in this.
No, right. No, I agree.
Tell the story the right way.
And again, I agree, but they are. Now, that scene, interesting. Well, whatever. That scene came from the first Addams Family movie.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that.
Imagine it with us in it.
Familiar with it. And so, like, that's why I'm like, yeah. And so, also, I also understand that whoever is in a movie that is produced by white people, or even a lot of movies that are produced by black folks and fronted mostly by white, production companies or whatever, they are speaking and addressing the white audience. They don't give a fuck about us. So again, Leah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's, again,
we got another take. I'm not an artist, but I know someone who's joining us right now might be. Let me see. We have Steve.
Oh, mama.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a minute. How you doing?
Better now. Good to see you, everybody. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Friday remix.
What the deal was when you clicked on join, okay? Yeah. Right? You knew it was you didn't just go into the chat, just pull somebody up that didn't know they was coming up here. Good to see you. How you doing?
Oh, fantastic, Zinzi. Fantastic, Lork. I'm really excited to be here and talk about this. I think this is really interesting. I think first and foremost, I'm just curious to know, like, what do we quantify or qualify as a black show most times? Because I think that trips people up a lot. And as somebody who loves being here, but is also part of another podcast called Dear Black Man You Good. We're talking about black media and stuff. We just talked about Tubi's Damascus, and we felt that that was a really strong, like, black show created by a black creator. And there was a lot of black elements in it. I felt like this is worth seeing, but we always got to pull several layers back. And it was originally on AMC, so white people kind of funding it, and now Tubi bought it like 2 years later, and we're talking about the show. We're really interested in it because it's about like a black man going to therapy.
What's it called?
Damascus. I think I got it up here.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that one down. Continue, please.
Yeah. So I'm just like curious about this because I do think so much of like we think of show This Is Us or something, like there's a black character in it, and we love staring Kane Brown to like but I think to a certain extent, like I love watching him convey like what a black family in like a contemporary sense works. But that's mostly a show by white people, and I feel like a lot of the authenticity was by Sterling and by the actors. So, but that's not really like I love like the distinction, but it's like I think it's the reason why I like to elevate Damascus is because I feel like that was very strong and very interesting about the thought process of having like Janet Herbert's character as the doctor. And like we really don't really see too many black people talking about therapy, and so that's why we really led with it. And Dear Black Man You're Good was brought to my attention by a therapist by the name of Martin Tolliver, and so that's why I was like, and we were talking about it. We just talked about it as just like black people, and then Martin, in the next episode that's coming up, we're going to talk about like, is it actually, this is how therapy would, like, having those deeper conversations about it. I'm a little bit rambly, but I think what I just find myself really fascinated by is I feel like shit hits differently when it's us. It's us speaking. It's our language. It's our tone. It's our voice. It's our cadence. It's our nuance. And that's why I really love talking about that show. But I feel like in the context of what we're talking about right now, I think it's really interesting because it's like, how do we get something like truly authentic, not just black, but like radically black? And I feel like I always go back to the spook who sat by the door. Like, I feel like that thing that like snuck in and like no one really expected it to be like the thing that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And like, it's still like this gift, but also I don't know how, like, do we sneak in and kind of like do like that to me is the most, like, that's the level, that's the bar for me. But how do we get that kind of stuff without like quote unquote playing the game or like sneaking something in?
Go ahead. And I think you kicked this off with a great question, which is like, how do we determine if it's black? We've asked that question on Remix, and I'm gonna kick it off to Zenzi with that because you gave us a lot.
Yes, please.
And I take notes because I forget shit. So, and I may go off tangent once in a while. In my opinion, if you are trying to create something that is going to make you millions of dollars, then you have to, right now, I say have to, Lucy, but you have to cater to white production companies or Tyler Perry. So there you go. If you want to create something that is genuine, that basically speaks to blackness from black people, about black people, for black people, there's plenty of opportunities. We're on one right now, even though we don't own YouTube because people besides Isaac Hayes III need to create a streaming platform, and I'm gonna get off that. So, for example, and this may not be like the one of the best example, this guy Kev on Stage, who funny as hell. He actually has a very short, well, he's working, constantly working on it. He has an independent series. I believe it is on Tubi that I'm gonna look for it. That
Safe space.
Yes, and he's a therapist, and he's talking to. I cracked the hell up on every episode because number one, it's like I'm like, these are Black folks I could recognize. Number one, it's funny as hell. Number two, he uses like his characters like Tony Baker, his crew that he's been developed. He's had shows for years that he's basically put on YouTube or on Patreon or whatever. And I don't really I think he understands. I remember last year he did a plea to his community, like his YouTube community. And he basically said, listen, I am good, like, because he tours, him and Tony Baker and Tahir, and that he's like, I'm good. I tour. He says, but we're low on dough. If you want to continue allowing me to pay my actors and pay the people, please join my Patreon. The number of Black folks that joined his Patreon, myself included, because I love him. I love he's funny as hell. I put my money where my mouth is. And so now, and I keep it going. And so he's able to kind of, produce these small features and hire, actors that, we've seen before, if you know Kev on Stage. So if you want something that is genuinely like what we're doing right now, even, and again, yes, I love monetizing, but we were fine without it. I want to say we don't want to go back to it, but you got to keep going. And if you're not concerned about, number one, attracting a wider or whiter audience, if you're looking to speak to people that look like you, think like you, act like you, if that is your focus, and when someone comes to you and hands you $1 million check and says, hey, I really like, and listen, I loved Insecure before it went,
that was the example I was building.
Yeah. So if you are willing to, I don't want to say stay, like, if you're willing to stay independent and resist, because I've read a lot of interviews and a lot of articles where Black producers were just like, yeah, this was fine, but then I forgot what show it was, and they were, whatever show it was, and they were like, yeah, now we got to introduce a white character. For what? What the fuck for? And they did it. And see, that's the difference, because they're looking for, number one, recognition, number two, to get on TV, and number three, to attract a white audience. I don't give a shit about, when I watch something that is like on that, started out on like a network TV or, HBO, whatever, I'm late as hell because I'm watching the same shit I watch on YouTube. I can't remember the last time I watched network television. And I also know that the first 2 seasons are going to probably be dope. And then it's going to go on to like,
yeah, that's the pattern.
So you are, if your main focus is talking to us and continuing to talk to us and continue to put us first, that if a white person is interested, they're like, oh, I love this, but how can we change this so that it's less Black? We were Black right here.
Yeah.
Like, you want my talent, yeah. So that's my story.
No, I mean, thank you for that. I agree, because this is capitalism, and how do you get a bigger market if you don't go to the people with the money? It's basic reasoning, but it does feel uncomfortable to accept that, because you want to feel like there's control, and then there's a highly sophisticated, And
I also understand, it takes a lot to even produce a small show on YouTube. It takes a hell of a lot of work, a hell of a lot of money, a hell of a lot of all of that. And so that's why the I manifest, so it'll come to my brain, again, old, it'll come to my brain, and I'll bring it out there. And honestly, it happens in every show, but there's one I'm thinking about. But anyway, let's be real, okay? We live in a society where we need money to eat, live, exist, pay things like lights that we need. And a lot of us can't lean on our parents or whoever, because if we're not paying our way, somebody else is.
Yeah.
So that's the difficult part. So it's like, okay, it may be really, really hard to have a full-time job and do production or do something that's large scale. And you may get like enough of an audience to stay on a level. I think that's the difficult part, where it costs money to have good editing and lighting and stuff like that. I think that's the trick.
Yeah.
Because, and shit gets more and more expensive.
Yeah. I think with certain people, like we started this art with the what makes something black, and I'm like, I think we have my favorite with the vocab, but we say a word and we mean different things. So I think about are we talking about, and I just go through a checklist, because like people say black and I'm just like, okay, well let's do the checklist, because I do think colloquially, even if I say a black film like Sinners, I am talking about something that is directed to black people, marketed at black people, even if, as you're saying, Zenzi, the meta is for a white audience to be able to accept it and things like that. So I just think about that a lot.
Unpopular opinion. Like, I enjoy Sinners for what it was. Michael B. Jordan is fine as hell, especially in that. Oh Lord. Anyway, the dance scene that was for black people. Because now I'm gonna be real with y'all. I do not have white social people, friends. I just don't, but I've heard from people that have talked to other white people that they didn't understand that scene. I'm like, they weren't fucking supposed to. And I appreciated that shit, because there's certain things. And we're so, like, a lot of people, a lot of creators are so intent on teaching white folks and explaining to white folks and shit like that. I hate that shit most of all. So yes.
We got more guests coming through. Art, I'm actually going to kick it back to you to maybe close out this loop on the boxes and checking them. And you seem to produce something behind the scenes, as Zenzi's saying, it takes a lot of effort. So how are you finding that?
I'm going to check out your...
because yours is targeted, as it sounds like your podcast is targeted to black people, particularly black men.
Black men, yeah.
So what is black in your opinion? As I bring another chat all-star to the stage, Ashley. Hey, Rob.
Ashley, how you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing? Good morning.
And after Art goes, I'm gonna bring y'all to a painful story. Zenzi, I know you hate these, so I'm sorry, but I gotta show it. Someone's mentioning Miami again, so we're gonna show some mess. Go ahead.
I have thoughts on earlier content really quick, but we'll do that later.
All right, cool. Go ahead. All right.
Okay, so wrapping up, Van Deb had this great quote about, like, are we talking about created by, written by, produced by, directed by, do all the boxes need checked? I feel like doing this, saying this all in rough draft and kind of doing this live. This is why I love the podcast, because I edited and all that kind of fun stuff. But these muscles need to be flexed and exercised. For the most part, I feel like is it mainstream or not? Because like my examples of Damascus and Safe Space, and also The Spook Who Sat by the Door, it's like they ain't mainstream. No. Like, we had to find that stuff. Yeah. And I think that hits different. Like, as great as Sinners is and can be, the strength of it was going to be all the people who take the idea and run with it. The comic books, the books, the novels, the audio, like all that stuff is going to hit so much harder, because we can go so much deeper. We don't have to, and I keep saying we, but I think this time I think it actually means something. As a communal sense, we determine the story. We're not dictated by white money or white producers or white gatekeepers, all that stuff. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that kind of hits so hard with it, is going to be when we have not just the freedom, but the true liberation to do what we want to do. then it hits so much different. And I think that's the biggest thing I picked up when Zinzi, you were talking, is like when creators can just do whatever they want to do and it's fantastic. And then like because they can, and then at a certain point white people have to step in and be like, we need to add this and we need to add this, it's like it's too black, we got to put the cream and the and the sugar. And I think to paraphrase Malcolm, I feel like that's when it hits, is when we truly have the ability to do these things, not just checking the boxes, but actually held accountable to what we want to do from the creator on. That's going to be really hitful. And I think also there's an audience component to it as well, because it's not just like the creators doing that or the cast and the crew, and then that's fantastic and stuff. But like at a certain point, I'm a firm believer that art takes a life of its own, and what do we interpret it and what do we want to do with it? And so I think that is the big point, and that's the big thing that's going to like really serve us, is like when we realize how much power we have, that we can demand these shows to get a second season, or like we can talk to the creators. We can like I would love to hear you guys talk about Damascus with the creators, kind of like how we are starting to do that. Or hell, just like once again, and I never do this, but I'm really proud of the time and energy spent to be here, to have that conversation with those people. We have some interviews coming up with some of the actors. Dear Black Man, You Good? I feel like the us with Black Liberation Media, the ways in which we can move and connect the dots to make the constellations that'll take us somewhere greater than what we're currently living, that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great place to wrap up.
There are probably other creators and products that are out there that are small and we don't know about. So if you guys know about them, like pass that on, like I'm about to go check out Damascus. I'm going to definitely check out your podcast. I really appreciate, because the focus on Black men in therapy, we talk about it, but go to therapy, like do it, go, but I really want to check that out. The problem or the challenge can sometimes be, this has been going on for 5 years and y'all know nothing about it. Well, word of mouth travels far. So yeah.
Yep. We still linking people in from the chat and are going to shift to this next story, but that was a great topic to take us on. Start with words. Appreciate that. And keep in the chat if you can. We'll plug the podcast because we do want to connect people to your work. And I want to bring to the stage Ashley, A-Rob. And before we get into some Miami mess, I'm going to make y'all suffer through before we close out today. I'm going to cover this story that you just shared with me. So I'll let you cover it. I'm just going to be tech support. Let me know what you think. I got the story shared, and if you want to let the people know what's going on, we're all ears.
All right. So on December 1st, my comrade picture here, Amanda Wallace. Amanda has an organization called Operation Stop CPS, which deals with the family policing system. She was a former social worker who became disillusioned with how she saw children, particularly Black children, being essentially kidnapped from their parents and put in homes with folks who don't prioritize placing children with family, even if family is willing and able to take them in, and do not prioritize reunification, which is supposed to be one of their top priorities. So just shifted Black children around. And so she started this organization to advocate for families and children in the system. And initially she got a protective order from the county based on her showing up to meetings and advocating for children and being kind of adamantly against the director of social services. And so instead of this individual filing their own kind of protective order or whatever, the county filed one on her behalf using the Workplace Violence Prevention Act, which typically is associated with folks who may have an abusive partner and their employer fears that person may show up to their job. So they file a protective order for the job outside of the individual filing their own protective order. So she went to court for that. You had a questions in the bill?
They filed an order of protection for, can you repeat that? Because I'm confused.
They filed essentially a restraining order.
No, they filed a restraining order from her going, couldn't go to work.
Well, she's not a social worker anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was based on interactions with the director of social services. Yeah. Gotcha. Nonviolent interactions, mind you. And
well, of course.
Nothing aggressive towards the woman.
If I raise my voice, I'm considered aggressive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly. So they filed that order and we went to court, showed support for her on the 5th. The judge actually upheld it for a year, so she cannot attend these meetings in person. She has to attend virtually. So on December the 1st was our transition of our new city council members, and a bunch of us showed up in support of the outgoing council member who was essentially sabotaged out of her office in favor of candidates who are very much pro-developer, heavily funded by real estate, construction firms, et cetera. And so there was pretty much a concerted effort to get this long-sitting Black woman out of her seat. And so folks showed up to give her flowers and show her love on her last official day on the council. And when they swore in her opponent, or the person who won the race, Amanda kind of disrupted that swearing in process. First, she was critical of the person swearing him in, a judge who has presided over a lot of these social services cases. So she was making comments about that judge. And then she started making comments about how this man essentially bought his seat in a predominantly Black and brown ward to push a pro-developer agenda. She was asked to leave. They had a brief recess to kind of reset, and the swearing in ceremony began within 3 to 4 minutes of when it was disrupted. Fast forward to Monday this week, Amanda was served a trespassing order from the city manager stating that she cannot come back to City Hall for 2 years based on that disruption. And then they spoke about it in the work session, in the city council meeting on Monday. And our mayor compared it to January 6th, that we don't celebrate January 6th here, that it was a disruption of a peaceful transfer of power, and just made all these hyperbolic, dangerous references. Now, mind you, these are the same crowd of people who ran to the media about me and painted me saying I was inciting political violence because I referenced the guillotine and because I created posters of some political candidates that said wanted for social murder, capitalist exploitation, social, political, economic exploitation, oppression, and capitalist exploitation. And so there was this picture painted of me in the media that has continued that I'm inciting political violence. There's a disease in the public square tainting the conversation. So these people are really using Trumpian tactics to suppress dissent and critique. And so there's a petition we started to get Amanda to get the city to rescind this protective order, because this full city council was not consulted about this. The city manager says he made this decision himself, but we suspect that the mayor and the mayor pro tem consulted with the city manager and the city attorney, and they made this decision. but none of the other council members, there's 7 total, none of them were consulted about this decision, didn't even know anything about it until residents started emailing and reaching out saying that this was an overreach and authoritarianism and a Trumpian tactic. And these are all people heavily connected to the Democratic Party. These are all Democratic local elected officials with aspirations of higher office. So, you know, all these people went to this No Kings rally, and now they're using the same type of tactics that they're critical of on people who don't agree with them.
Now, I have a long history in North Carolina because my family's from them, and I actually, lived there as a small child. I've never been to the Raleigh-Durham area. So where you live, what is the makeup, like the racial makeup there?
So a lot of people will compare. I appreciate. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been Musa mentioned the book Class Warfare in Black Atlanta. Durham has kind of similar dynamics. We had a Black Wall Street here. There's a lot of Black bourgeois or petit bourgeois folks here. So Durham is about, I say, 35 to 38% Black. And the mayor's Black, district attorney's Black, sheriff's Black, police chief's Black. All of these people in leadership are Black, and yet they kind of do serve, like Atlanta, serve white capitalist interests.
Yeah.
I actually have a clip of the disruption, so you can see.
Yes, we see that.
Yeah, they are comparing to January 6th. It's crazy.
The democracy we live in. Yeah, please drop the clip. I'll definitely play that, and then I'm going to drop the story for folks. Actually, I'm going to just say, as always, the links and stories are in our remix run sheet document in the show description. So everything gets updated there. Again, check the show description if you haven't seen it. And I have the clip, so I'm going to pull it up. Share it now.
It's so hard. Wow, sitting here. She's responsible for
have some respect, man.
So many children in Durham.
Hey.
She has separated so many children. And Matt Kopech has bought his seat. $60,000, over $60,000. Netta alone is his supporter.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Let's go, man.
Oh, okay, I'm coming.
Let's go.
I'm sorry,
Let's go now. Let's go now. Let's go.
I get it, white man. Listen.
Let's go.
I'm going.
That's enough.
I'm just saying, this
You
is
said
so
enough.
I can't
Let's go.
Get out. I'm sorry. You can't get out. It's really bad to see.
Can you get up? Can y'all get up, please?
This is what you're doing. You bought this seat.
Y'all gonna be Miss Jessica?
Yes, feel it in your heart. Feel it in your heart what you are doing.
I'm not gonna ask you to move your
I'm
legs.
trying to get out.
Go out.
Okay. I can't get out. I can't get out.
Okay, you can stop talking now. You can stop talking.
Get out. Get out. Oh, Matt Kopech. Matt Kopech. I'm just walking. The struggle is long. The struggle is long. Y'all sell it out. You sell it out. I'm sorry.
So I think I see an ask here. Is this correct? Let's pack the Durham County Courthouse Friday. Oh, wait, this already looks like it's 2 weeks ago. So this passed?
Yeah. So the new ask is the petition. It's up probably further in the chat. I can reshare it.
I got it.
And I love the fact that she kept talking loud as she was walking out. I love that.
Right, but you see, she didn't use profanity.
No.
Was
First of all, we know, and white folks know this ain't got shit to do. It was nothing like January 6th. They fucking know that.
Well, it was a black man saying it was like January 6th.
He know what? Oh God.
There's a black man escorting her out, right? So
yeah,
the
black man
always
that referred to the youth as YNs.
They always have a black person to do that shit. Come on now.
Yeah, but you see that she left.
Yeah.
They didn't have to forcibly grab her and make her leave. She left. She stayed outside the rest of the time. The meeting went on as it was planned, and that was it. So where in that area is it even remotely in the same sphere as January 6th? And that's like just so dangerous to be categorizing people who peacefully protest as violent.
I think that also could have been for the media who wasn't there, so they can have a picture in their mind about what didn't happen. But
well, the media was there because it was.
No, I'm talking about people watching this on the news.
Okay.
Who weren't there, who are hearing the buzzword and like, oh my God, it must have been terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, but the whole evening was disruptive because folks were chanting and cheering for the council member who was leaving, and we would break out in song continuously throughout. But she was the only person who got served trespassing charges, and it's just like an intimidation tactic. Like they're trying to get people to stop speaking out. They're trying to be more stringent on the rules. Like when there's a city council agenda meeting, you have to make your comments germane to the topic. But there's ways that you can make anything germane to the topic if you give people enough time to speak. So if a person has 3 minutes to speak, they should be allowed to speak their 3 minutes. You shouldn't within 10 seconds of hearing something that doesn't immediately address the topic, you shouldn't be able to then just say what you're saying doesn't relate, because you haven't given me an opportunity to make it relate. Because everything is interconnected. So you can connect everything to Gaza. You can connect everything to gentrification. You can connect everything to the sphere of what's happening. And they just want to control the messaging consistently. And it's not just Trump GOP people that are doing this. The one GOP candidate that ran in our race, nobody had any issues with his people having these kind of tactics. We like diametrically opposed on every issue. They have some things that I don't agree with at all and can't rock with at all, but they didn't employ these type of tactics to try to win and to try to oppress people that don't agree with them.
Thank you for the story. Petition is in the chat. We got another
question, Ashley. What was the outcome of them saying that you incited violence? What was the outcome of all of that? Like how things now?
They just keep continuously represent it in some type of way. I try to be very cautious when I'm out and about. You're dealing with people that have like money and power and ego, and you don't know what they will do to maintain it. So I'm not necessarily scared, but I am cautious and I am aware at all times. The newest they're also trying to implement Peregrine in our city, which was developed by some of the same people that created Palantir. We found out that there's been a real-time crime center in the works in our city for over a year that nobody found out about until folks learned of a secret meeting at a steakhouse in town with folks in office, and they were talking about this. And that's how it all came to the public's attention, that they were even considering this technology. We had Thomas App. Lark, are you familiar with Thomas App, the violence reduction research guy?
Not immediately.
Okay.
What's his name?
I was just wondering what Thomas App, ABT.
No, I don't think so immediately.
Okay, because I was just curious what folks thought about his analysis on gun violence reduction strategies, because he's now advising our city.
Okay.
And he claims his services are free, but we know they're never free. So
advising the city for free, huh?
I think he's based in Maryland, so I was just curious.
No, I love when y'all give us homework, so I'm gonna look into it. And I think that sounds like a Lawrence Davon.
Yeah, I was thinking about Lawrence.
Yeah, with LBS, they love talking about this, and white man trying to give solutions. Yeah, they'll critique that. They'll break that down. I appreciate this story. I also appreciate you highlighting these local conditions. But as we're seeing in the chat, and you probably heard from my Miami stories, this is happening all over in all of these city councils. So I always find it hilarious when usually a white liberal man suggests that we just don't know the civic infrastructure, just aren't following the processes. And then you follow the process, you're getting called a rioter. This week, our commissioner was texting a lobbyist in the middle of a commission meeting and got called out for it. So this kind of corruption is all over the place. Thank you for bringing the story to our attention. I'm going to repost the petition in the chat for us to show some support.
Thank you.
And A-Rob, always appreciate having you on. You want to stick around for this next story with Keontae? All right, come. Keontae, you ready? I'm about to bring you on.
Keontae, hey.
What's up? Can y'all hear me well?
Yeah.
Hear you great. You had two stories you wanted us to go through. Which one you want to start with?
Yeah. Start with I just sent another one because I wasn't sure if y'all would be able to click on Tuscaloosa News. So start with the MSN one.
Okay, I got the Tuscaloosa News ready, and okay, you already brought it up. I was interested in this one too. Okay, tell us about this. Keontae. What's going on?
Well, for starters, let me give you a brief of who I am. Keontae, I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Baby organizer. I like to call myself that. I've been organizing for about a year with PSL Birmingham. Love it. But this is an interesting story. All right. College scholarship in honor of Charlie Kirk created at the University of Alabama. An Alabama State Senator has partnered with the College Alumni Association to start a scholarship in honor of Charlie Kirk at the University of Alabama. Senator Jared Allen is funding the Charlie Kirk Memorial Endowed Scholarship. The University of Alabama Alumni Association will award incoming and continuing Tuscaloosa County undergraduate students starting in 2027. And this is the quote he got. Charlie Kirk stood for perseverance, leadership, and the idea of serving something bigger than oneself, Allen said. By establishing this scholarship at the University of Alabama, we acknowledge his legacy and invest in the next generation of leaders from our state who will carry forward those same values. Scholarships will be given to full-time students who exhibit leadership, strong moral character, civic engagement, or public service as demonstrated by their involvement in and on off-campus extracurricular activities who demonstrate the financial need as determined by federal aid. So I sent this in because when I seen this, I thought this shit was so hilarious for the simple fact this is a conservative DEI scholarship, if we're being real.
Yep.
It's crazy because it's right. It's crazy because like when we're getting rid of DEI, like so it works for y'all, but when it comes to us, not even on radical things, just trying to get Black kids into schools, like it's crazy.
But that's the plan. I mean, they know what the fuck they're doing, number one, and when you have, and it's like, yeah, a lot of this shit been going on or whatever, but it's in your face now. It's like way in your face when the top person is a fucking, wingnut and shit. And, bringing more people and more people getting elected just as insane as he is. And so now they just, loud with it, So yeah. And they have, first of all, I'm going to tell y'all, they do not hate DEI. They don't hate public assistance. They just hate it when anybody but white people get it. That's the bottom line. They can call it whatever they want to. Like, y'all don't fucking hate nepotism. Y'all don't hate DEI. Y'all just want y'all to have it. That's it.
And another thing that I think about as well is like during my time in college, I went to the University of North Alabama, And when I was there, DEI was in full effect. And I find it so funny how these colleges, they want whatever the public opinion of at that time to look at as quote unquote the right side. Not like none of the morals or none of the characteristics that they put into these things, they don't abide by these things.
They don't have any morals. I mean, shit, you can't follow what you don't have.
I want to just point out the contradiction. This is a public university. On top of what you're saying, University of Alabama.
University? Oh shit! Yeah, I'm
almost positive. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's a public university.
Yeah, so I mean, again, anti-DEI to the point y'all are raising, like this is happening with the public university, and it's crowdfunded, which is super interesting, right? Because they won't let us do that for our people as well. Like you think if I wanted to start a Malcolm X scholarship, I could just do that and say, here's the PO box, and y'all just send me money, and I'm gonna do like hell. So it's very political, very fascist, as we understand. This is a fascist who they're giving a scholarship on, but no different. It's white nationalism all around. It's the settler colonialism. So,
and I find it so interesting. Really quick is that like in Tuscaloosa, like our population between like black and white is almost 50-50 in a lot of ways. Like the last time I checked the census, I believe white people are like 49%, and we're black people like a real close like 47 or something like that. Like it's like a very close number. But that's even more telling as well, is that y'all want to push this heavy conservative, and this town is, oh my gosh, heavily conservative. Like real quick fun fact, I went to a wrestling show in the town, which we don't normally have those. And I'm a huge wrestling fan, like diehard wrestling fan. But I went to a wrestling show, and right before I go to the venue, about an hour before, I find out that this same venue was having a Charlie Kirk memorial. I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't come to this shit early. I would have had to air it out. Like I would have been able to handle that.
Yeah, man. This is rough. But again, I like it. I like the reminder of the country we live in. I like being able to point to my little kids and be like, hey, you see that school? Then they're giving Nazi scholarships. Remember, because they're going to tell you the Nazis are the worst. They're going to tell you that there's no one worse. They're going to tell you Castro and Maduro are the worst. And here you get planned scholarships to go to a public school. So it's,
And it's so interesting you say that as well, because like this is the same, like this school, university has so much crap to go on with black people at this school. And then just the historical element of it as well, like in regards to the civil rights. So it's very interesting, especially like around here, the UA, we're looked at, very much football school. And that's the only thing people look to. They're not looking at the racist history.
Yeah. So I know we're going into overtime, which I don't mind. I wanted to go to this next story. And then, A-Rob, if you had any thoughts on this one, and Keontae, if you want to give us some context for it, let me know. So Birmingham tears down another homeless encampment amid question and outcry. Again, a national epidemic, but tell us about Alabama.
So basically, the homeless population has been rising throughout the whole state of Alabama in the last 5 years at like crazy rates. And it's really bad, particularly in Birmingham. Like every time I go into Birmingham, because again, I'm not from Birmingham, just an hour away, but every time I go into Birmingham, it's almost like I've heard people who come from out of town, they compare it to Atlanta's homelessness as how bad it can be. And so going into this story, I'll read it. Birmingham tears down another homeless encampment amidst question and outcry. Workers tore down a homeless encampment in West End on Tuesday, a week after the city's decision to clear homeless encampments in Link Park drew pushback. About a dozen workers in neon yellow jackets were assembled near an industrial crane as it picked at the belongings of a homeless person Tuesday. Furniture and old clothing was strewn in piles in front of a makeshift shack in the empty lot. It was not clear if the lot was owned by the city. A spokesperson for the city of Birmingham said Wednesday the cleanup was not a part of the larger campaign. The city of Birmingham is not in the process of clearing homeless encampments across the city. That's a lie. When these encampments are reported and determined to be a threat to public safety and or public health, we work to get the unhoused individuals resources and then we clean the area. Last week, some commentators on social media criticized the city's decisions to remove homeless people from Lynn Park. The city later posted an explanation of its approach to the clearing encampment. In every case, people are asked to voluntarily move their tents and personal belongings, and they are given adequate time. People are always allowed to congregate and remain in parks during park hours. The following day, Mayor Randall Wolfen returned to the park to offer and help the homeless. On Tuesday, the city announced a $1 million contribution to a new homeless shelter to be built in Jimmy Hill Mansion. And this story was so interesting and so crazy to me because, like, look at the language that we even see in this. Like the quote: "In every case, people are asked to voluntarily move their tent and personal belongings, and they are given adequate time." What is adequate time for somebody who don't have anything?
It's that polite fascism, that liberal fascism, man. It's crazy. The language.
Mm-hmm. And to make matters worse, like in this red ass state of Alabama, Birmingham is a blue city. The mayor, he's a black mayor.
Thank you for highlighting that strategy.
North Carolina. Charlotte is a blue city in a red state.
Miami is currently a blue city in a red state. Yeah, yeah. Democrats rule the cities. They rule the urban regime. Yeah, colonialism. Yeah, Democrats rule the cities. They rule the urban regime, the internal colonies, and then the Republicans rule the white nation elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And there's always a balance between those. Hey, Rob, what are you thinking about this story? What does it make you think about with Durham and conditions on the ground there?
Yeah, there's the same thing going on in Durham. There are increasingly more encampments popping up on the side of the highways, close to shopping centers. We actually have community fridges in Durham, and some have had to be moved because people complain about the unhoused people who kind of set up their stuff in the close vicinity to those areas. And so people seem not to grasp that if you don't give them somewhere to stay, they're just going to keep moving around to different areas because they don't have anywhere to live. And we have all these vacant properties that we could be using to house people, even if just temporarily. But instead, we prioritize building expensive luxury condos that largely remain with a high vacancy rate continuously because people can't afford to live there. But whether people rent it or not, it's going to be profitable for the people that own it. And so, yeah, they're putting fences around places that homeless folks are known to set up. They put those fencings under the overpasses where a lot of them kind of put their things so that they're weather protected from rain. They've put those little plastic fencing so folks can't get up in those crevices. They've started making the hostile architecture at the bus stops where the seat is got those bars so you can really only just sit there so nobody gets too comfortable and want to lay down or anything. And it's like all the effort being put into preventing the homeless people from being seen instead of figure out a way to provide them with housing. And we have enough, and it's just, they've taken the abundance theory and bastardized it because abundance to us is we already have everything we need. Abundance to them is we need to make as much as we can that we can own and we can rent to you and we can lease to you. And it's about further monetization of everything, not maximizing the space and the resources that we already have. Up, you on mute. Oh, to piggyback off of that, we've been doing an event in front of City Hall called the People's Table. And it's pretty much a national demonstration that folks have been doing to show that during times of crisis, it's the people in the community who are standing up and standing in the gaps to make sure our people are taken care of and not the government. So we do it outside of City Hall as a optic framing. Monday, we had folks just pull up with boxes of blankets. We had thermal socks, thermal blankets, hygiene kits. We had a harm reduction table with naloxone, condoms, safe drug use items, like the things that people who are unhoused and are poor, don't have access, may need. And we've done that 3 times and plan to continue to do it monthly in 2026. And most of the city council, when they were thanking people the other night, were thanking these larger nonprofits who get all this funding to do the kind of work, while dozens of people are literally outside your door serving hot food, giving away groceries, giving away clothes, doing all these things for our neighbors on a shoestring resources through mutual aid. And y'all are talking about Rescue Mission and Salvation Army and all these places that get millions of dollars to do this type of work.
Yeah.
And one thing about this is making me wonder, and this is my question, like for everyone, right? Me being, on this leftist or whatnot, and being within this small, dare I say, radical organization, few of us here. The issue comes in for us a lot of times when trying to organize around this, we get swept under the rug essentially by the big liberal influences like BLM Birmingham. They are very big and very antagonistic towards us. Like when we were protesting, when Jabari Peoples got killed by the police out here, they were spreading all types of crap about us to people that just wasn't true. Like they had the nerve to say, "Oh, that's PSL. They had people coming from Atlanta, like all them from Atlanta." And man, I heard that. I wanted to say, "Nigga, I'm from here. Like, what do you mean?" But so my question is, right, as a smaller organized group, how do we push back on those forces between like the BLMs and the nonprofits as well?
So I, unfortunately, man, this is what Jared feels like when he does this. I have to go, sadly. So I can't be around for this. But here's what I'm going to do, though, to be different. I am going to write that question down, and that will be the check-in question for the last show of the year next week, Friday. So how do we avoid getting swept under the rug by these major nonprofits?
Because I got thoughts, but we can do that next week.
We could definitely, and I'm cool to invite. This is what the platform is for. I appreciate y'all, organizers, baby organized, community members, whoever comes on, sharing resources, sharing stories like these. I want to shout out Crushing Wheelchairs with Crip Hop Nation. That was earlier, and it speaks to the homeless encampments and what they're doing to our people and resistance and things of that nature. So always want to big up the work. Check out Darker Than Blue with Jackie Lukemon coming on. Check out Saturdays with Renee as always. Like, share, subscribe. Stay on Patreon because we don't know when they'll pull the plug on this again. And as we like to say, peace if you're willing to fight for it. Also, as Chairman Fred Hampton used to say, and we appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend.
Bye, y'all.
Remix. 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 Remix.